It's just a few minutes after 3 o'clock, and I will call the City Council meeting for today, Monday, September 22nd, to order. And I'll ask Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mayor Brooks.
Here.
Councilwoman McKenzie. Here. Councilman Estes.
Here.
Councilman Castleman.
Here.
Councilman May.
Here.
Councilman Goff. Vice Mayor Webb.
Here.
Councilman Moore.
Here.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Do a motion to excuse Dwayne, if we don't forget about it. As is our tradition, we will begin our meeting today with a prayer and pledge. I'm very thankful to have Pastor Kay Horner with us to give the invocation. And if we could stand for the pledge and prayer immediately following. Salute and pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pastor Kay.
Father God, as we come before you this afternoon, we acknowledge your goodness and grace and mercy in all of our lives. We thank you for the Lord Jesus Christ, who is at your right hand even now interceding for us. And we thank you for the power of the Holy Spirit that directs our steps. We intercede today on behalf of our city council. We're grateful for each of them who have been positioned and chosen by you, appointed by you. You've said that authorities exist and are appointed by you to be ministers for good and not evil. So we pray that these men and this lovely lady would possess godly character and integrity. We ask you, O Lord, to direct them by your Spirit so that they will protect what is good and make choices that are wise. Guard their hearts and minds. May they function together today in unity, and all things work together for good. We thank you that they stand for truth and pursue what is good for the people they represent. We ask for your guidance in the process of all decisions and vision casting as they fulfill their role in co-laboring with you as your servants. Teach, enable us as citizens, God, to be people of respect and honor for those in authority over us, so that we may bring glory to you as your ambassadors through our interactions with them and with one another. We pray for all in authority, not simply because you have commanded us to, but that we may live quiet and peaceful lives. Grant wisdom, guidance, and direction, and we thank you for it in Jesus' powerful name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Kay.
Mayor, may I make a motion?
Certainly.
I'd like to make a motion to Dwayne Goff be excused from this meeting today.
Second.
That is a proper motion, properly seconded by Vice Mayor Ken Webb. Any additional comments or questions on the motion to excuse Councilman Goff? Mr. Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilman Castleman.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Webb.
Aye.
Councilman Moore.
Aye.
Councilwoman McKenzie. Councilman Estes. Councilman May.
Aye.
Carries 6-0.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Mr. Miller, I'm being asked by folks that they can't hear the mayor. I don't know if we can turn up the microphones or not, but there's many people that don't want to hear me on a regular basis. All right, thank you. That motion passes for the excusing of Councilman Goff. It takes us to item 4, which is the waiving of the reading of the minutes of the last regular session on September the 8th, and that also requires a motion from the council.
Mayor, I move that the City Council of the City of Cleveland waive the reading of the minutes of the regular session of the City Council held on September 8th, 2025, and approve them as written.
Second.
It's a proper motion by Vice Mayor Webb. It's properly seconded by Councilman May. Any comments, questions, or changes? Thank you all for excusing my absence last week, or last meeting. I appreciate that. With
I didn't know you was gone.
With no further questions, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Webb.
Aye.
Councilman May.
Aye.
Councilman Moore. Councilwoman McKenzie. Councilman Estes. Councilman Castleman.
Aye.
Carries 6-0.
Thanks, Mr. Clerk. That motion passes. Yes, Councilman May, every now and then my real job gets in the way, and that's what happened.
We had the shortest meeting last week.
Is that a short joke?
Yeah, rather short. You said that, I didn't say that.
Okay, thanks, Tom. Next item on the agenda is special presentations and public comments. Just for the audience, and we've got a great group of folks here today. There are 6 items under special presentations, but we will have, a couple of people have asked me about the opportunity to speak, and the public does have the opportunity to make comments at the end of this item number 5. We will begin, Mr. Fivas, with project updates.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and City Council. And, today we are missing one of our council members, and that was the primary reason why we didn't hold the 1 o'clock session. And we're also planning to have the strategic planning session, which we've moved to a different day because we wanted to accommodate the person that isn't here. Want to start out and just give an update on the compensation study that we had talked about. Generally, overall, had many really positive comments from city staff. I think that the longevity has been very helpful to a lot of people that were not going to get anything because of the way they're situated, and they appreciate that. I've had comments that increasing the pay bands has been very regarded well, because we had a number of people that had topped out, and now they're not topped out with the new pay bands that help that sector of employees. Had few people that even appreciate that, a little bit late, but they about the 3.5% pay increase that we gave them on July 1st, and that the $1.25 million in investment in the employees in the compensation plan. So positive comments. We do have a number of questions and people trying to get the information. I believe we got later this afternoon, we got some additional information from Evergreen that we'll distribute to city staff that are looking for some information. So I think that's a positive thing. So the appeals process is still continuing. Had some conversations with some employees. We will likely give exceptions to the hard September 30th date. As far as appeals, we may even look to extend that to the end of that week, which would be October 2nd or 3rd, and we'll make that announcement when we go there. But we're trying to make sure everyone has enough time and all the information that they need to be able to have the information to make the appeals process. Throughout this process, we've identified 2 primary issues. One that kind of scales. It's a little bit more than just individuals. It's you have the fire department that has some middle management folks that there seems to be an issue, or there is an issue, and I think that we're spending some time looking at that. Had some very productive meetings with the fire department's leadership. Chief Bates has been very helpful in giving clear, making his opinions very clear, but also bringing in some senior leadership. Like today, I think on Friday, we met with a few fire staff, and today we met with some, and I give them a lot of credit. And instead of coming in and saying, that they don't like something, is that they've actually brought some solutions that we can look at. And I think we've set up another meeting opportunity, and we're going to work on some of those solutions that they've presented. I think that's always very.
What are some of those solutions?
Well, I'd let us have the meeting before we start digging into them. We haven't really got into all the details.
What are your thoughts?
But
Solutions for fire.
yeah, like I said, we have a meeting set up to go over the solution. They have something that has more of a grid pattern. I haven't looked at the numbers. I haven't looked at the cost. They just dropped it off this morning. But I think having that solution and having, instead of you know, we don't like this or we don't like that. Bringing those solutions has been very, very helpful, and we have meetings set up and willing to find out what those are. The second issue is that the police department has had a number of police officers leave, generally in their 1 to 3 years time frame, and I think that there's really an issue with retaining and attracting new public safety officers, and I've had some number of conversations throughout the process with Chief Gibson. We have a meeting set up with his leadership team within the next week to really figure out what are the time frames, just like the fire department. What is the process that we're going to go through to find solutions? How are we going to do that? And we will certainly give feedback to the council on how those issues go. I think that you know, our plan is if there are issues and we need to bring back proposals, just like the fire department brought us a solution, we'll bring back to the council some options that you may want to look at to do that on those two primary issues. Evergreen is certainly aware of the issues and is working on those, and I think that the tenor has been really strong of just collaboration, dialogue, looking for win-wins for the organization, for the employees, and I think that's very positive. I think that, you know, both issues are very important. We do have a business plan. You know, we are losing police officers at rates that are concerning, and we're looking at addressing those and trying to come up with here are options on how to do that, and the same thing with the proposal from the fire department. With that, I'm happy to move on or address any questions if you want to. If you
Was
have
there 3 different options on the pay study, I was told, but we were given one?
in what sense?
I'm just being told that there's 3 different options, and we were presented the only one.
Yeah, we came and we presented you an option with the class parity, which was
there 2 others?
with. Do you want me to answer? Or?
Sure.
Okay. There were an option for class parity. That's the way that we've always done it for the last time, is having looking at the time that you've spent in your position. So sticking with that, had conversations with Cleveland Utilities and asked if they had used longevity in their pay solutions, and they had not, and they're usually pretty closely aligned with us. So, and we also have this benefit of a longevity. The other options that we were talking about included longevity as part of the conversation. Those costs were going above what was budgeted, so there was a cost benefit or a cost analysis, and one was just straight longevity, which we've never used before.
Okay. So was there 2 more options?
That's just what I went through. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and when I met with most of the council members, I showed the different options, went through them. I gave a recommendation, and
Did you just decide not to meet with me?
you know, we met in my office.
I wasn't shown 3 options.
Yeah, it was on the computer screen that we looked at.
I don't recall that, Joe, but go ahead, proceed.
So, I don't know what the question is.
Okay.
Any other questions from the council? Councilman Estes?
Do you know how many appeals have come in so far?
No, we haven't heard that back yet.
All right. then I, listen, as we're working through this further, deeper, can we extend that more than just maybe? Can we just make sure we extend anybody that wants to appeal
Yeah.
a longer date?
Yeah, and that's what I said, is that anyone that needs extra time will get time. If we want to extend it just to Friday, the October 2nd, I just haven't had a chance to communicate with Kim if that was all right, but that would be fine if that's what everyone wanted to
Councilman,
do.
it's Friday the 3rd would be.
Friday the 3rd.
Friday, okay.
Is that long enough of an extension?
Well,
I phrased that in the form of a question.
depends on how much work gets done in the next week and communication out. That's more of an administrative thing than.
And
I
does
would just ask
that
they-
require council action to make that extension?
I've just asked him to extend it to anybody who wants to
Yeah,
appeal.
yeah, I mean, if it was really the council's date, I haven't talked to Kim. If you want to extend it to the Friday the 3rd, that's fine.
So I did also meet with Joe, went over quite a bit, and I appreciate your time. If it's gonna take us longer than like getting this sorted by the October 31st deadline, then we ought to add, my opinion is add a couple weeks for appeals.
Well, I'm not thinking that the 3rd would be enough.
Right,
Time.
more than,
Please carry it out to after the next meeting,
I don't want to,
so we get a better.
Well, you know, we don't have a meeting on the 13th, we've got a meeting on the 27th.
another question, Joe. You just used the word grid
Yeah.
pattern. What's a grid pattern?
It's just more, hard to explain, just grades and levels versus, you go across a page with the grades and levels and what the compensation would be at that level.
Does it also include time in position?
Councilman, I'm being asked if
Does it
you'll
include
speak in the
time in
mic.
position?
It includes all the different ranks and how long you've been in
How
here.
long you been there?
Yeah.
Okay. Standard teacher pay in public schools is that way. How many years have you served and what level of education do you have? I know there are other municipalities that use that in certain sectors of their pay, particularly police and fire. How long, if that's part of the answer, great. The last thing I would ask, maybe if we could, we need to set a date on appeals, but as a council member, I rather than saying, hey, give us a plan that meets 1.26 million that's budgeted, I would rather raise taxes and get this right, no matter the cost, so that 3 years from now, 2 years from now, 4 years from now, we don't have to go through it again. And I don't feel the analysis and that we're using, the plan that we're using, cleans it up clear enough with enough. I've got it. I appreciate your time. I even understand it. The grid pattern, if we're talking about the same thing, is much more clear. It's not. So I'm not saying it's better. It's just more clear. If we're looking at comp and we're looking at getting everybody at least at the half and at moving certain segments well beyond the 50th percentile of true comp, not the way they've done min and max. I know that's going to cost more than 1.26 if we keep the longevity. Right? If we just went straight percentile rank. And
If you got rid of the longevity, then you can open to systems, because what I was trying to avoid is having systems where you have longevity there, then you have a longevity payment, you're kind of getting double the thing. Is we're certainly open, and the driving factor behind a lot of this was trying to get right about at that 1.25, or not go over it, which we actually did a little bit, and do something that makes more sense.
So I appreciate you guys saying, hey, we know we gotta do a comp study, we know we need more money. We budgeted 1.25, it's presented, we pass it. Now we've done the comp study and it's, for our hope, for my values, it's more than 1.25. I'm assuming, because I don't know. And it's, I'm flying a little bit blind on the actual cost. So I'd love to see with what you bring back, the cost of such, and at certain levels. I know I got both praise and flack over saying 90th percentile for police last time. But when I think of liability costs of a bad police officer versus the investment costs in a great police officer that can save you millions of dollars, there's more risk in that one position, I think, than anything else in the city. You know, for liability, open to liability. These are values I hold. I'm just one vote. I just, when you bring back these options or bring back more information, I'd love to see cost attached to that. And I do like the idea that with what you gave us, we can tease out the longevity. Another thing that makes us apples to oranges is how much of the retirement we pay. I get that too. I mean, I know it's so hard to compare these, but you know, I get that. And I haven't yet anyone given me any information that someone else's benefit package is better than ours. So I'm assuming we're near the top, if not the top.
We're probably in the top 1%.
Yeah, I'm operating under that. So let's just say, David, you said when our next meeting is October
27.
27.
654. Can we make October 24th the deadline? Would that put you in a pickle? For appeals, sorry.
Yes, that does.
17th?
Well,
Friday the 17th?
it's about, once we get everything, then you have the back office work, that once you have everything, you have to do all the calculations for all of the back pay and all of that. You probably need 3 weeks to be able to do that.
So
So you could,
when the back pay, I'm already assuming that's gonna get bumped to November and not October.
well, that's something we can talk about. If you moved everything a month and said, let's implement in November, that would give us time to come up with options for the council to look at our strategic planning session on October 27th, make some decisions, and hopefully there's dialogue before that. Know what the costs are, what the funding options are, and then we can go forward with that.
I'm okay with that because whatever decisions, let's say we make in November, the back pay still goes back to July 1.
That's right.
Can we put that under new business then? It doesn't have to be that motion, but at least let's move on that.
What was the last day?
So,
We'll get you it would be the 28-day payday in November.
Whatever the 28th day is.
Or not, it's a term of art. We would have to find the date for you.
We're just moving it from the last of October pay period to the last of November to get this sorted, and then the employees pay back pay. Gives us another month to sort out cost, options, appeals, for us to hear.
So what does the appeals extended to?
Means that is part of the motion. You know, I mean, whatever you need, since you got an extra month, whatever you need.
Yeah, I mean, you just move everything a month and just say the end of October.
So instead of it being September 30, it would be in October 31 is that
31
Friday.
Appeals, appeals, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we just put that as a new?
It could be potentially October 31 for appeal. And that'll be new business item B. And Councilman Estes, I'll just come to you. Councilman Castor requested permission to speak.
Thank you, Mayor. Joe, I just want to go back a little bit in history in the 208. I know I came on council in 216, in 2016, you came on also at the same time.
Mhm.
I
New
think that
business.
from 208 to this point, the city and the taxpayers have been very generous in try to improve the pay scales to be more competitive in the market. Is that a true statement you say? I mean, where we're at?
Yeah, I mean, the starting pay for police and fire was about 36,000 until for about 20 years, until
Yeah.
about 2021.
Yeah,
And then for like the police department, it moved up to 41,
Right.
45,
Right.
and now you're at 51
right,
in the last 4 years.
right.
And same thing with fire
And
department.
it was, it was a hard vote. When I came on in 2016, we were behind, and there's some things needed to be taken care of. And there was only 4 of us that went forward with that, and only 2 of us are still on the board at this time, council, I believe. Am I correct on that? 2 of us, when we made that decision? Everybody else?
There's probably 3 of you.
3? Okay. But 2 of us, 4 of us only voted, it was a split vote. It was a hard decision.
Mhm.
I know the basis of Chattanooga's been based a lot too, as far as pulling people. But we have to live within our means, I believe, in the city with our budgets and what we do and what we ask taxpayers to do on that part. We are not a Chattanooga. I just want to say that right now. We don't have 250, 300,000 people. We have 50,000 people. Our tax revenue, our base, it's stretched from Cleveland to Chattanooga. In other areas, if you go around in Bradley County or whatever, it's a totally different ball of wax than what the city has. I think the city, you talked about it, is probably in the top percentile in pension benefits and those type of things. So that's, to me, that's value added and needs to be looked at too. You have a SWAT team. Do you get a benefit on top of the SWAT team? Does somebody get extra money on top of that? Or hazmat, did they get extra money on top of that also?
There are a number of special pays.
Okay. All right. Are we taking into consideration just with the base pay, or is it just
It is
on the
not.
benefits? We're just trying to pay, and I know, and I'll say this, I know Chattanooga doesn't pay all the benefits. They have the employees pay a portion of the benefits. So there's value added in that too. You have to look at that. Pay in this area, it is good, and I think we do a great job with all our staff. And it's just not fire and police, guys. Y'all, I'm talking about public works. If you didn't have public works getting ice off the roads and snow off the roads, you couldn't get out there with the truck. You couldn't get police cars out there. So it's a community. It's all in one. And I think that we've moved everybody in the same direction. Can we pay like Chattanooga metros? I don't foresee that. I own 2 businesses, and I just can't stem to see that. I mean, pay is not everything on that part. It's the environment you live in, the family life you live in. I mean, the media income for this area is $45,000 for a family. So, I mean, it's a tax rate, it's a cost of living, housing market, all that goes in a factor in that part. And we just can't put ourselves up against a Chattanooga metro. I mean, it's just too hard to do that on that part. That's my feeling, and that's all I have to say right now.
Any other comments, Councilman Moore?
How much is budgeted for appeals?
It's just an estimate. I mean, obviously, we would honor anything that came back. I think the sheet said 50,000, but obviously, if it's more than that, we would have to work. It was just an estimate.
So I understand like the appeals are what we sent out by email. If we change it,
That's different. That's not an appeal.
that's not gonna be an appeal. It's gonna have to have a whole nother
Yeah.
window.
Yeah.
All right, anything further? Vice Mayor Chris Miller, if you can hear me, I'm getting told that people can't hear Councilman Cassidy, Councilman Estes, that there's
They need
nothing.
to speak up. We're in the room and we can't hear. They need to speak up.
So if we could try to adjust these mics maximum, please.
Yeah.
Vice Mayor?
No.
And then I'll come to you.
Yep.
I just want to say, I think the important thing is that a problem is identified and a process is underway to try to address that problem. And sometimes that takes a little time. And I think we have to be careful that we do not rush the decision and make a mistake that's going to show up 6 months from now or 6 years from now. But it's obvious there are problems that exist with the comp study as it was issued. And I think if we'll just give everybody time to work through that, that we'll come up with a solution that is acceptable to everyone. That's just my opinion on it. But it is going to take a little time.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Yeah.
Councilman May?
Yeah, Joe, when you come back with options, the other cities that the comp study looked at, how did they handle their longevity pay?
I don't know that answer.
I don't know either. That's the reason I would like to know. And of course, one of the main problems is with all the departments, with longevity, you will have someone that's supervising another person that he's drawn more money than the supervisor. And, you know, that's always been one of the main problems. How you separate it is not simple.
Yeah. And that's why the model chosen is that for every year, for any employee over 5 years, that they get the same amount across the org. So everything is equitable across every range if you have it a standalone benefit. If you add longevity into that component, from what we've seen, it creates a lot of variables. As you said, is that people that stayed in the same position for a long time will be well past their supervisors. And that's the same thing when I talk to Marshall at Cleveland Utilities, and they have their linemen and stuff like that, is trying to give incentives to and essentially rewards for people who had stuck with the organization and make it consistent across the board. And that's something that it's the same thing as whether it's a pay over here. It's just two different, it goes to your overall retirement benefit. It's no different than your salary. There's probably some arguments that if you take that $600,000 in longevity and take that away from everyone and put it into the pay, that would probably make a difference. One of the things I was trying to accomplish is making sure that that everyone, we had 93% of people got additional money in the organization, trying to show value for everyone in doing that. The public works people that may not have showed up as far as a market adjustment, they all got, if you've been here 20 years, you got $1,500. And that's what we're really trying to help, are those people that aren't getting a market adjustment. Their jobs are where they need to be, but we're doing something for them.
I just made a quick list. I know how difficult this is, of all the things that are variable between these 11 COLAs. Longevity, overtime, COLAs, some get 3.5, some haven't get 3.5, and that makes it difficult. Insurance, Chattanooga self-insurance, that's a whole different ballgame than what we do. How retirement works, shift time. I know you can't get apples to apples, right? I mean, there's just too many. But optics are still important, super important. And the optics of a grid sometimes are easier to digest than the analysis we got.
If we can find one that works.
Yeah, Bill,
Agreed.
yeah, you're talking about apples to apples. We had 4 cities that they did the comp study on?
I thought it was 11.
Is it 11 cities?
It's 14. It was 14.
14. Okay. We were supposed to come up with average
Mhm.
on, and when you talk about apples to apples, if we're doing one system and they're doing another system, it's pretty hard to have any kind of average.
I know.
I would imagine that the way our system is set up, and I don't know this, that a lot of organizations have gone to front loading and putting as much money into their salaries as possible because they have heard what we've heard is especially especially the younger employees or the newer employees that your retirement benefit doesn't pay the mortgage. So we on average for an example, a public safety employee, we paid just under 21% in their retirement benefit, and then you have for example Dalton down the street that they pay 5%. The employee puts in 5%, and then they put in 5% for a 401k. Are their salaries higher? Probably a little bit. But the issue is, it just depends on where you want to value the taxpayers' dollars. We have post-retirement health care that we provide a benefit for the rest, retirement benefit for the rest of your life for health care, which is a pretty unusual benefit. So all those things, and I think this is the point that you're making, is if you look at everything together and compare, we're probably way on this side where a lot of your money is, and then our salaries have always been middle of the road, and that's really the conversation that we've seen it for several years. What do you want that mix to be? You want a balance? You want to have additional, we, as we've said many times, we are, I think without question, one of the most efficient local governments in the state. And to be efficient, you have to make decisions and say, we're going to stick within our budget of 1.25, unless you guys decide to do something different. If you want to go over that, there are, just because we operate on such bare bones, is that we have to be very careful with how we put these dollars, because, and I'm not telling anything you don't know, is for every dollar in benefits and pay, those dollars are forever dollars, is that you'll likely have those for a long, long time.
Well, when the guy presented the comp study, one of the things I asked is, did he look at the benefits?
Mm-hmm.
Are we on average, high average, medium average? And I understood him say no.
From what I've seen, what he's given us on benefits, our health care premiums are pretty close to what other local governments do. We probably pay a little, or the employee pays a little bit lower on that, but not. So I think he was probably answering that, is that we're in the ballpark on health care, but on retirement, there's probably a 10 to 13% more that we spend per employee per year for that. And really no one offers post-retirement health care anymore, especially for the spouse. So
Yeah, my sister, you're from the Midwest, my sister lives in Chicago, I used to live there. This is what bankrupt Illinois.
it is.
No doubt, I mean, the very things we're talking about,
And Detroit.
before Illinois.
Yeah. And you look in our budgets for your OPEB evaluation, those are costs that we accrue every year that when we're paying, when we give that benefit to a new employee and we keep that benefit, or we guarantee that benefit for those employees, it's not what it is now, is you're paying for it 35 years from now in perpetuity, and as life gets longer and all that stuff.
So, jumping on David's thing, if you can, as close as you can, bring in dollar figures back with these options so that we can see, it'd be super helpful for me to vote my values.
Okay. We'll certainly share options and have conversations so we don't get it cold on the 27th, so that we can be in decision-making mode, which I think will help everybody. As I said, I think the conversations I've had with the leadership, with Chris and his leadership team, and Mark, and we're having a meeting set up with his leadership team, I think that's tremendously positive. And there's, in doing this, you can talk about all the different options, and there's literally 300 different options that we can pick, and we can, we can work through those, and we can get something that that hits the values and that we want to project, and make some decisions from a long-term standpoint. One more thing in closing is we've come a long way since those years, and many of you have worked through those in the mid-2000s, when we went 5 or 6 years without giving any pay raises, or weren't paving roads every year consistently, or doing that. I think we should be really, really proud of how we've evolved, and and being able to give 3.5 consistently for a number of reasons. A lot of it's from the council, running the local government as efficient as we do. It opens up those avenues for us to be able to do that. But the other thing is that this is not Cleveland in a little bubble. This is a nationwide epidemic on pay for primarily public safety employees. You go and just Google it, and you see everything all over on I bet you any given day, Chattanooga has 75 positions open for their police department. Right. So, and we're doing much better than that. Is that this is something that a lot of people are grappling with. A lot of people don't have the resources to deal with, so they don't deal with it. Most, I would say 90% of local governments aren't even asking the question of compensation. They're just given the 3% raises and moving on. They're not even having the conversation. So I give a lot of credit to the council, is that being able to have the conversation is the important part, and I think that the council deserves a lot of credit for it. How do we get there? There's a lot of ways to get there, and there's nothing wrong with saying, okay, maybe we didn't get it exactly right, but let's take a pause, figure it out, bring some additional options, and then figure out what that means. And I think that's just where we're at.
And I think this is also a good time, Joe. I know we've got the community garden queued up, but might be a good time to take a pause before we go to that and ask anybody who wishes to speak on this topic, since we've had 46 minutes of it. If there is anyone wishing to speak about this topic, let's go ahead and do that now, and then we'll come back to the community garden. I'll just ask to raise your hand, and I'll need you to come to the podium and state your name for the record. Anyone? All right. Good.
Jonathan Carroll, Cleveland Firefighters. Cleveland firefighter, property owner in the city of Cleveland, city taxpayer. This has been going on for way too long. I'm a 20-year guy. I've watched this for the past 6 to 8 years, where we kick it down the road and we have a conversation. This is, I'm sorry, we're an epidemic. But I will say, these guys behind me will do anything for the city of Cleveland. And I've had enough. I've had enough of kicking it down the road. I think it's time we can get it right this time. I think we have an opportunity to get it right. And we're so passionate, we bring an option to the city manager. I'm sorry you guys have to vote on something that you never see. I hate that. There were 3 options. Did you see 3 options? Or did you just take a recommendation? That's what we're worried about. And I didn't plan on speaking today, but the more I listen to it, it's the same old, same old. And I think it's time for, this time is the time to get it right. I think we have the opportunity to put this thing to bed. I know we all want to. So, I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Anyone else seeking to speak?
Jonathan, did the firefighters get a raise?
Sir?
Did the firefighters get a raise?
Yes. To my knowledge, yes.
Did you?
I did, $600. Guys behind me came in the same year as me. I've been a lieutenant. I've been there 20 years. I've been a lieutenant 10. Okay? The guys that are in my class, the same rank as me, do not. Now, I have an opportunity. We have a guy that's a firefighter, okay, that's been there 18 years. He's been a firefighter 18 years. He's in the promotional pool and probably will get promoted. When he gets promoted, he'll make more money than I will as a 10-year lieutenant. Day one. So you tell me that's okay.
Is that what we call compression?
Correct.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, anyone else seeking, any other questions from the council first? Anyone else seeking to speak? Yes, sir. If you'll state your name for the record, please, sir.
Mike Akins, I've been a captain at the Cleveland Fire Department since 2018. I have a question on that scale, the grid you're talking about. That scale works on your time and position, right?
I was asking that too, like.
So since I've been a captain since 2018, going on 8 years, that would be, my pay rate would be based on that 8 years in my position, right?
Okay, in teacher world, my world, there's two answers to that. Yes and no. Yes, some are that way. Others would be, if you've been with the department 25 years, it would be a captain at 25, not a captain at 8. So you get.
Okay. Well, the reason I'm asking that is because becoming an officer and being a 30-year officer is practically impossible. So you couldn't be an officer in that position for 30 years. So if that's the way it works, you could never achieve probably the top third of that scale.
So that's not the way, back addressing me, that's not the way it works in teacher pay, but there are grids that work the way you're saying.
Right.
But that's not the way.
Is that the way ours is? That's my question.
I don't think we use a grid right now.
Well, in this plan is what I'm asking.
I think it's more complicated than that.
Well, if everybody thinks it's more complicated, then why did we vote on something that we don't understand?
So, as I understand, what we voted on 2 weeks ago is not a grid plan. The first time I've ever heard the word grid pattern was today. That's kind of the way, in fact, I asked Mark a bunch of statistical questions that were based on a grid. And that's not the way they used it. That's not the way they determined it. what went out to an email to everyone else. And so like I mentioned to Joe, probably 3/4 of the emails and phone calls I've gotten were just like me. They're assuming that it's apples to apples and that it's based on a normal curve at each level at each year you've been there, and it's not. So it took me a while to understand, and I had to sit with Joe for an hour to understand exactly what Evergreen did.
No.
Okay, so this grid pattern in both examples you gave is not what was sent out by an email or is not what we voted on 2 weeks ago.
That's what it looked like in the email I got from Evergreen. If
So
you,
amend
if
the
you
max.
did my rate versus time and position, and then when I look at the scale, it would be impossible to reach the top third of that scale for anybody, you know, above a firefighter. And to me, if that's the case, then that whole thing is useless. And to your point, Mr., is it Casada? Okay, Casada. Y'all used Chattanooga in your comparison, so that's why one of the reasons, you know, everybody's
Do you
looking to
understand
them.
what I'm kind of, I mean, I can't, in my market, what my business is, you know, I know what the market is, what I
Mhm.
sell stuff for. If I go to another market, I know it's a different market. It's the same way with this. It's just that we can't be comparable. I don't know why we put Chattanooga in there, because we cannot be a Chattanooga. There's no way. Versus, you know, like I spoke about, 250, 300,000 people versus 50,000.
Mhm.
It's just,
Well,
our tax base is not set that way for us to be responsible to you guys. And believe me, everything that y'all do, I appreciate. I mean, I want,
No
and we
question
also
that
have to
I'm-
have a balance too of equipment. You know, we went back 6 years ago, you know, $9.5 million for you guys, new fire trucks, new turnout gear, police officers same way.
That's what it takes to protect
We
the
do
city.
everything. I want to make sure you get home safe. So we have to have safe equipment. So there's an investment in equipment too. We have to balance the two together, pay and equipment. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
just, and with Chattanooga too, what they went through, you know, Mayor Kelly down there, he went with a 44-cent increase tax to give them the increase.
Well, so your issue
If-
then
if
is
coun-
with
if
the
council wants
company
to
that
do
did
that,
your
then
study,
that's
not
fine
with
to get
us.
to that point, but I don't think the public's gonna be, will receive it very well. So, I'm just trying to live within our means, you know what I'm saying? Just, we got a balanced budget, and we have to look at that, and if we want more, then that's fine. Council they can ask for increase or taxes, that's fine. We did that when I came in 2016, 18, and it was tough. And to get it going again, and if we do it a little at a time as we go, it's better. But it seems like council don't want to do that. They want to just wait and pennies for progress. We just did. And to that point, we're talking about salaries and pay. And when we were talking about a new fire department, I didn't see a fireman show up here about that.
What are
We
you
were
talking about,
talking about a
new-
new fire department on the north side of town. The property was donated to us on Harvard Farms for a new fire department. Fire hall on that
Okay.
part.
We're gonna
Brand
keep
new.
this part.
Yeah, and we're gonna probably put a precinct for a police department in there too, but a separate building, but I didn't see anybody show up for that. I mean, that's for the community. That's better to serve our community with. I didn't see any firemen show up and talk about, we want that fire hall.
Well, why wouldn't we want that fire hall? Why would we
Well,
have to
I
come
mean,
tell
we
you we
had-
want to build a fire hall to protect a part of
Yeah.
the city?
We
That if,
had schools here for a new school on that property. There was a ton of them here. And put pressure on for us to do a new school. But it
who
would be-
was here?
Huh?
Who was here?
The school system was here. Everybody, from the director all the way down. I mean, there was a lot of
Okay.
people here. And through
They
that
were here
process,
when
it was
y'all,
only a
when
half
y'all
a
bought
cent.
that building over on the north side of town too, weren't they?
Yeah.
That was offered, that they offered to give to the city, how many times?
I don't know, what we,
What
what
we're
bill,
good.
what bill, I'm just saying that there was an opportunity and for that to get done. The pressure was here from the city schools to get it done. And I was hoping the fire department would show up too, but they didn't. And we didn't get the half cent put on there for that, to put that new fire hall in.
Here's the thing about
If you'll
buildings.
state your name for the record, please.
Sean McCamus. Here's the thing about buildings. Here's the thing about equipment.
Mhm.
as you're providing us with the basic tools that we need to do
Yeah.
our jobs.
I do.
We expect you and our administration to utilize funds to get that station, to protect our citizens, to keep ISO ratings down. The thing about buildings and equipment, if you don't have the men in them, then you have nothing.
Yeah.
All right, we've had 3 members of the audience request to speak. Is there anyone else? We've got the community gardens queued up. Any other comments from the council? I don't see any other hands. Ms. Fivas, back to you, sir.
To invite,
I don't think your mic's working either, Joe.
I want to invite Michelle Goldston and Kesman up to talk a little bit about the community garden program and tell us, and whoever else that you want to talk about that, the success of that. We intended on going out there and having, breaking bread at some point, but they're still working on the pavilion.
As we drove here today, they're still currently working on the pavilion. Good morning, good afternoon, city councilmen and current firefighters. Half of you I do know, a couple of you are educated. Hey, baby. Just wanted to say, cool off the temperature in the room. It's hot in here. Just to say thank you for your time, your effort, your encouragement. I'm speaking loud because us in the back of the room haven't been able to hear anything you said today. We kept saying we can't hear you. We cannot hear you. But again, thank you for your time, your effort, your encouragement to the College Hill Community Garden. I think Mr. Fivas has the video teed up. With partnership with my cohort, I think most of you know Mr. Kesman Pugh. He's operations management for the College Hill Neighborhood Association. And I've got 2 of my fellow gardeners, Ms. Pam Rogers and Mr. Bill Rogers. We sweat, we cry, we fuss, we complain. Oh, and Cleveland Utilities, I thank you for moving the water hose inside of the garden, so it makes it a whole lot easier to water versus going outside, tripping and falling off. Most of you know I am what I am. I do what I do. I try my best that I can do. But I thank Cleveland Utilities, put that on record, and City Fields for their effort, their strength, their encouragement. The community garden is beautiful. It's green. It's been hot, very hot, and I've got ghost peppers for anybody that wants some, but nobody. Oh, you want some? Baby, I will hook you up as soon as this is over. I've got ghost peppers. We've had green tomatoes. I think last week we picked 3 crates of green tomatoes. I don't know where they came from, but they keep coming back. We try to kill stuff, it keeps coming back. So again, thank you for the contributors. I know it's Noonday Rotary. Best Buy Metals is currently helping with the shed. We've got a grant for the construction of the shed. City Fields, a couple of people, other donors, I cannot remember the name, forgive me, not my age, it's my problem. I'm getting old. But again, thank you all for your support. I think, Bill, you've had the gentleman to come out that moved dirt, and I don't know who came and moved the last load of dirt, but it's been just beautiful. Everybody rides by, they toot, they blow. They're out there right now when they came, and I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for the encouragement, because we're in a food desert. I think the police department rides by every day and says hi to me. They see me out there with the water hose, sweating and do what I do. I don't look like this when I'm out there, but I'm out there. But again, thank you. You fail to realize a good tomato, homegrown tomato, tastes different than the ones you buy at Walmart. Green peppers, jalapenos, cucumbers. I think we had a cucumber fest when the season first started, and everybody loved it. The residents are all in it. We have the garden club involved, a couple of churches involved. Community is involved in our garden, and this is just a small video snippet of what we've got going on. And again, to say thank you. I can't say thank you enough. I know Joe's like, Michelle, what you got going on now? This is what we do. We're all about community. We've got several events coming up. I think the trunk or treat is October the 25th. If you'd like to be involved, please contact Mr. Kesman Pugh. We've got Christmas in the City. We have a date set for that, but I don't quite remember what it is. November the 30th, thank you. And then you will see it pop up on Facebook, and we will come back to you with it. But again, thank you for all the concerns, the issues. I think Dan and Kevin, Bill, we're all Noonday Rotaries, and we've all contributed to this. So this is just a snippet of what's going on. And Dustin, you were my counterpart when we started this madness. Dustin, in the beginning, in 2003, Dustin was the one out there siphoning water through a water hose, trying to water the garden because we didn't have a water source. He's not on video, but I do have the video of that. Dustin sucking through a water hose trying to get water to come out in that area. But again, just enjoy the video, and again, thank you.
How you doing today? My name is Keston Pugh. I am the operations manager for the College Hill Neighborhood Association. And this is my buddy, Kyle Stokes. I'm the director of community development at City Fields. What you're looking at today is the College Hill Neighborhood Garden. This garden was established in 2023 with a grant from the Miss Myers Cleaning Products. And we also received HCI funding from Bradley County to help build these raised beds with volunteers from Bacher. The shed was built by volunteers from M&M Mars with some donations from Noonday Rotary. And then a pavilion's going to go back in the corner right there. This farm stand next year will go outside the fence, so anything that's extra that's produced will be available to anybody in the community that needs some fresh produce. And once we get an overflow of produce that Michelle Goldston and her awesome team tends to every day, we will put a farm stand out here, and then anybody can ride by and get it once we get the neighbors taken care of. And we want to do pumpkins, because we have an awesome trunk or treat coming up in October. We got to do about 300 pumpkins to give away to the neighborhood. So it's just a variety of things out here, and it's been a great success. The city of Cleveland's been great to work with too. This is a city-owned lot that was vacant. It'll be full of community members having events, meals, getting a lot of gardening and gathering together. So right now they come on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays after church. Michelle coordinates. They're frying tomatoes, doing fresh vegetables. They've had several great opportunities for people to gather and just be together right here. And it's become a milestone for us, something that is very successful that we have not always had in our neighborhood. So we're so proud of it, and I'm proud of the work Michelle and her team is doing here.
Does anyone have any questions?
Any questions for Ms. Goldston? Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that takes us to Fall Festival, October 24th. Mr. Fivas?
Yeah, there's just some general announcements there. I want to move to having Dustin and Seth give a quick update on, we had a Arts and Entertainment District meeting today, and they want to update you on how that meeting went today.
Honorable Council, we met with our steering committee for the first time this morning, 10 o'clock. We had a wonderful connection before content exercise that we did to help bring the steering committee of, there's about 15 of us, I think, total. Folks that are interested have participating positions in arts, entertainment, property owners, business owners, to kick off this steering committee. We got us. And so we shared the roadmap over the next several months. We'll be working probably about once a month with the members of the steering committee. Our next task is going to be to begin developing a strategic plan for the district. Our big takeaway today, though, was to actually have the district boundaries approved. And what we're showing here is in green, you see the Main Street boundaries, and in red are the Arts District. And so there are, if we'll go back to the word, I missed the word cloud. We, Dustin came up with this really cool QR code where we ask a question and they respond silently, and then we get to see what everybody's answers are. So it's a very well balanced kind of a silent conversation that we did. But these are the words when they were asked what they want to see in 10 years. What's the result? What do we get from this activity of creating an arts and entertainment district in a part of our downtown? And I just, all of those words check the boxes. And so we were happy to see that. Vibrant nightlife, entertainment, happening, family-centric. And so we want to keep those with us as we continue our work with the steering committee. We're going to remind them of this. This is our goal. I don't think it's going to take us 10 years to get there, but we're really excited about the opportunity to work with our citizens directly to build this new thing that's going to help promote some good redevelopment and programming to help increase visitation into our downtown. Dustin, you got anything to?
Another question that we asked that got some good feedback from the steering committee was what role do you see yourselves playing in this? And we've got a good diverse array of people that are champions for arts and entertainment, but also business and property owners, and you wonder what's this going to look like 3 or 4 months from now as it relates to this body. This group will be shaping a strategic plan document that will make its way to you for approval in the coming months. And we're looking at some other cities across the state who have entertainments and arts districts. And we're looking also at other places, even outside of Tennessee, that have strong arts and entertainment district models at the state level. But we hope to report back in the coming months a plan that can be voted on, and then activate that plan starting in the spring of 2026.
Any questions from the council?
Yeah, Seth, is there, from my understanding, is there some state funding in this and grants and stuff that we can maybe capture down the road?
I think there's a possibility. A few years ago, Thrive Regional Partnership had a specific model that, had we been ready to go, 4 or 5 years ago with this, they had funding through Lyndhurst. I think there's an opportunity probably to work with Lyndhurst. Main Street is always a big partner through what they're able to do through economic development at the state level. And so there could be some placemaking, or as we're wrapping up our downtown improvement grant, another one of those that we could apply and help with funding in this district. Yes, sir.
Dustin, can you go back to the map for just a second?
The district is about 50 acres. We're up at First Street, up to Central Avenue on the north side, and all the way down to the old woolen mill and part of the property that the city purchased just recently from Phoenix.
Got it. So it's first.
And I realize I'm not made of glass.
Okay, so it's first all the way up by the Elks Lodge.
Yes, sir. Elks Lodge is here.
Right.
First, and then come in and go up to Central.
Okay.
And then run along the railroad track for your eastern boundary.
And that's within the overall Main Street map, which encompasses, some residential and some. We felt like this area represented where both, at the same time, the most redevelopment opportunity and the most existing arts and entertainment assets are both occurring, and those two things combined shape the making of this map.
And Seth, what's the western boundary towards?
That's Church Street.
Church. Okay.
We got some really good feedback from the group today about this map and also some ideas that would go into the strategic plan.
Got it. All right. Thanks very much. Any other questions from the council? Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, can I address something?
Yes, I will allow that, Mr. McCamus. If you'll identify yourself just for the record.
Sean McCamus. I've just got one question for you, Mr. Cassidy. You say we're living within our means, right? You want to live within our means.
Yeah, I have to in my household, yes. I think we all do in a household. Yes.
Yes, sir, I agree with you. when you say that, was it in our means for a $50 million aquatic center? Was it in our means for the summit? Because I believe we just raised taxes for that, did we not? So that wasn't in our means, right?
Yeah, I think we raised in that time our taxes at that, if for a new fire department.
Yeah.
15 new firefighters.
Yeah.
Okay, we were like 20 officers behind at that time.
Yeah.
Is when we did that.
You know that
I don't
we've
think
lost
that's-
4 firefighters in the past 2 years?
I think that everybody ought to have the opportunity to better themselves off.
Yeah.
And I tell my employees this all the time, okay?
I have a business too, I get it.
And if they can find something else they can do better at, I'm gonna encourage them. I mean, I don't wanna hold them back. Go and do something that'll better yourself off and better your family off.
Yeah.
I have no problem with that. It's just that.
I do, because we're losing experience in the fire department, and we're losing guys to greener pastures.
Yeah.
And with that experience, there's a lot to be said about that when we lose that.
Well.
Okay.
With the experience, that means some good things are happening. When you've got veterans,
Also,
you got people 20, 30 years.
How can you explain to me why you want to give a brand new guy a $3,000 raise, and then a 20-year guy $0? Just make that make sense to me.
Well, the whole scale is out of whack. It's been out of whack ever since way back.
2008 to
Yeah,
2014.
In 2008, correct me if I'm wrong, y'all at the time, I wasn't even on council, but the fire department had to make a decision, either lose 2 or 3 firefighters,
Yeah.
or get a pay cut. And
You
y'all
know,
stuck together
actually
as a
at
pay
that
cut.
time, we also were about to take a pay cut.
Yeah.
And we were willing to do
Since
that.
I've been on here, you've
We were
always had
willing to do
increases.
that.
Am I correct?
I'm not sure
Yeah.
about that.
We've always had increases, haven't we, Joe, every
When did
year,
you come on?
3% at least, 3.5%?
It was 5% last.
When you look back at 2008, 2014, here's the thing that you need to understand. We got
I
no
wasn't on here until
raises.
2016.
Yeah, I'm just saying some council members were. We didn't get raises for those years. You say we did. You say we got a 1.5% raise, and that was negated by rising insurance cost. And then we got one $750 bonus in those years. These are the guys that you're talking about that are not getting raises now. We stuck with y'all through all that. We
I
gave
understand.
and gave. Do you also understand that firefighters will work 54 hours a month over 40-hour work week?
Yeah.
Do
And
you
get
understand
paid time
that?
and a half for it too.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
Straight time?
Yeah, straight time. That rule goes back to the Great Depression. Y'all could choose to pay us overtime, but you don't.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Fivas?
Again, gentlemen, I just want to say this to the fire department, police department both. I appreciate everything you do, and one of my hardest things is if I'm in a car, you know, in a wreck, or my kids or my family or anybody, y'all there respond. I want to make sure y'all have everything you can. I'd love to pay everybody as much as they want, but you know, it's like your kid's allowance. You can't. You got allowance, you do duties and stuff, and you can't overpay because you got other things to do. So you have to balance your budget, and that's what we do here at the city. We got to be responsible to our citizens, okay, when we go forward with that. Plus, we just want to make sure that y'all are taken care of, safety wise, and those type of things too. So that I don't have any heart, and believe me, I'll stand up. I've done it before, okay. In 2018. I took a stand, and I did what we needed to do. 15 more firefighters, 20 more officers, a new fire. And I wasn't even on council when they did that. When they put everything in there, we didn't have money to pay for it, so we had to do something. I'm not scared of it. Okay, I just wanted to make sure you understand that on that part. I am not scared of doing that. Some people will be. I'm not. Okay. So let me make that point very, very clear too. I've stood with you guys through that.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you.
Anything further from the council? Mr. Fivas, you had some dates you want, I'm sorry, Councilwoman McKenzie. If you'll pull your microphone, please, Councilwoman.
Okay, I'd like to say, like Mr. Cassidy, I don't feel like we can compare to Chattanooga because we don't have the tax base that they have. And listening to some of y'all's concerns, I think we've got to get this right this time. I think if someone has been with the department as long as you have, and you're not getting a raise and someone new, then something's out of whack. And we need to figure this out. This doesn't need to keep on and on and on. And I appreciate the fire department, the police department. I have a son that's a policeman, and I know the feelings of family, of first responder. There's not enough money to pay y'all. There's just not. I mean, there's nothing, you can't put a price on your job. But, you know, we as a council, we appreciate what you do. We're trying to work with y'all. Maybe there's some things here we're not seeing, and it just needs to be talked about more and needs to be looked at in a deeper way to get this fixed, because we really need to fix it. In reference to the sports center, of course, I was the one that brought that forth. And my thinking in that, of course, I also knew that we were going to have some property for a new fire department. We were going to be able to try to move over into a new building, which is great for y'all. You need a new building. You don't need old equipment. You don't need old buildings. But with the sports center, that's going to bring revenue into Cleveland, because we can't put everything on the taxpayer. And if we've got something bringing in revenue, then we can start putting some of that money into other areas, like the fire department, like the police department, and like things that the city of Cleveland need. So I would just ask that y'all work with us. We'll try to work with you and see if we can't get this fixed. Because I can see from the conversations, there's some issues that need to be looked at, and I'm willing to look at them.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Anything? All right. Mr. Fivas, you had some announcements. You said some dates that would finish up our special presentations.
Yeah, a couple things. I mean, we do have the ribbon cutting for Jim Sharp Park on October 27th. That should be ready to go. And with that, we have the plaques that we're going. So we have, and this is, I think this has already been decided, but you know, you have the plaque for the dedication. Mr. Ron Barker donated the property, or a piece of the property out there, and we have I think it was in the original discussion, is that we also have a park that will, or we have the pavilion that we would name in honor of Ron and his wife for that.
Pam.
Just Pam. I just want to make sure that everyone doesn't show up to this and is surprised by that. So we have that, and we'll have both those dedications on that day. We'll invite the Sharp family, and we'll invite the Barkers to attend, and hopefully we have a perfect day. Any questions on the plaques and the important stuff? We also got good news, is that we have 10 Jetport hangars that are ready to start construction. That we have grants from the state, a little city money, because there's a match requirement. That soon that we've been waiting on the federal government to release the money. They have released that. We already have bid it out, and the contractor should probably be moving dirt probably in the next few weeks. So that's good. Get some good time in the fall here, hopefully dry, to move some dirt and to make that happen. And with that, Mr. Mayor, I don't have any other announcements.
All right. Anything further, Mr. Fivas, for the item number 5?
I don't have it.
All right. I've had a request to take a quick recess, but I'm going to see if we can't push through the next 2 agenda items real quick. Item number 6, hearing petitions and communications. We have none. Item number 7 is the consent agenda that was presented to the council prior to the meeting, and was emailed to you all. Are there any questions on the consent calendar? Yes, ma'am?
Mayor, I believe there's a gentleman here that wants to address the father today, Mr. Ackus. And he has not been given that opportunity yet.
All right. My apologies. I didn't see any other hands a few moments ago. Hang on one second. We're going to take a 5-minute recess, and we will be reconvene at 4:30. Everybody for reconvening for our continuation of our meeting. I have been asked just before the recess to allow discussion under hearing petitions and communications. There's a gentleman wishing to speak at of Varnell Road annexation. If you will.
Not Varnell, no.
Is that this one?
Yes.
So we have two speakers. Okay. So I'm going to allow the Varnell Road first, if you'll state your name for the record, and then we'll have the second speaker, and then council will go directly to the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My name is Daniel Lakes. How much time do I have?
As much time as you need.
3 or 5, please.
3 to 5 minutes is
3 to 5
requested.
minutes. Okay, can I start this off with some basic questions for the council sitting here?
Actually, if you could start it off by explaining what it is that we're going to be discussing, and then you can go to the history.
The discussion would be the annexation of 2305 Varnell Road from a farm to an R2 and bringing it from Bradley County to the city limits.
Okay, 2305. And Mr. Five, is just for my information, this was the annexation that was done September 8 meeting?
Whatever that date of our last meeting was.
Okay.
It's on the agenda today. It's item 7A on the consent agenda.
All right, Mr. Lakes, continue.
So, sorry for my being late to this, but I was just brought up to speed on this, and I've tried for the last couple of weeks to get as much information as I could. But as you well know, most everything that falls within the bypass, which my property falls within the bypass, I live at 2385 Varnell Road. I own a total of 78 acres right there that adjoins 2305 Varnell Road. I still have a fully functioning farm there which raises beef cattle, which most people in this county enjoy our beef from that place. Now, if we allow that to be zoned in R2 and brought into the city, where does all of that go? Has anybody looked at the topos or what the runoff from that property does to my property?
Well, we have stormwater, and I'm sure that they'll have to provide.
When they submit their plans for development, they'll have to have they'll have to have a stormwater plan,
Yeah.
and they have to have their post runoff be the same as their tree runoff, which means more than likely they'll have to have a detention pond, maybe 2.
Correct.
So the same outfall would be where the water would go. Where the water naturally leaves the site is where the water would still leave the site. It would just have to come out at the exact same rate as it did before. And their engineer has to submit all those plans to us before we will let them grade.
Okay, so let me bring this point up. So on top of the hill from where I live, I don't know if you guys are very familiar with Varnell Road. On top of the hill, we have, I think it's called Emerald Green subdivision, correct? Emerald something. Can't remember exactly what it is. So across the top of that hill is city limits. My property goes all the way up to that top of that hill, touches city limits. So whenever that whole subdivision was done up there, nobody thought about the water that came off of, I would call it the west side of that hill because it is the west facing side. And now I have to continue to fight the water that comes off that subdivision. So now we're wanting to propose to put another subdivision, which I'm gonna have to deal with, whether your engineers or whatever decides, on the stormwater plan, which keep in mind, I am a general contractor, a commercial general contractor. I deal with stormwater all the time. I know how to control it and mitigate it and all those things. I literally had to bring in 800 dump trucks of dirt into my front yard just to slow down water and to keep my fields and my cattle, where my cattle graze, from eroding just from that one subdivision. And I've never brought any of this up ever. I've never been to a council meeting. I've never done any of this before. But somebody has to stand up and say enough's enough at some point.
Can I interrupt? Jonathan, is
Yes,
the
sir.
subdivision that he's mentioning, is it in the city?
I'm not sure which subdivision.
It is.
Which subdivision?
It's the Houston one.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's in-
So
It is.
what,
Is it going
you're
through the planning?
you're a contractor, what's his recourse?
Civil.
That would be if whoever the developer of that subdivision is, he has standing against that subdivision.
It all becomes civil at that point. So my point is let's just say this goes to the council here. You guys vote to say, hey, yes, we allow you to bring this into our city. We allow an R2. You're going to let them do an R2, which gives a broad array from multiple living dwellings, I'm hitting a blank here, but condominiums to apartments to houses, whatever, within this section of property. And then my only recourse is I have to hire an attorney out of pocket to go against this individual to get my stuff corrected. Well, to me, I don't know about how you guys feel, and as being born and raised in Bradley County, to me, I don't find that fair.
I think the city would have some liability in this because when we approve these things, we have a report from our own stormwater people. So
Well, you should.
at the planning commission, on this very issue, on annexation, on zoning, there's a stormwater report. Am I right, Jonathan?
Yeah, the developer's engineer will submit us plans, and the city engineer will review them and make sure there's no mistakes. Once that plan is approved, then we have to make sure he constructs it exactly like the approved plan was. And once that is all certified, he still then has to give us an as-built survey of what it was, and we check that to make sure it's gonna function right. Then basically our liability, because that engineer stamped it, he's taking on that liability for the developer at
So
that point.
these documents are very important.
Yes.
They're very important. And I understand that too, but I invite every single one of you sitting on this council right now to come out to my property at this given moment and look at the retaining walls, the way I've had to reconstruct my driveway, which is a concrete driveway that's 300 feet long, the dirt that I've had to bring in, the road that I had to build down through my farm, including the oversizing of culverts going underneath the ground to mitigate the water that comes off of just that one subdivision.
Councilman Castro?
Quick question, has this come to the planning commission yet?
Yes, this is,
Unanimously.
it's item A on your consent.
Passed 9-0.
Passed here 2 weeks ago. Jonathan? Or-
That's what I said. I'm sorry I'm late to this. I apologize.
What do you suggest
I've never
for
been here.
recourse? So there's two issues here. The one we're voting on today, I think, is kind of tertiary to,
We can look at the old, Emerald Hills was developed, I don't know, 2007, 8. I'm in there. We could look back on those files and see if there's something that's not working properly, if they haven't maintained it. We can get our stormwater guy to go look at that and see what's the excess water that's coming on you that should be going to their pond, it sounds like. We can do some of that. For this new development, we just have to make sure their engineers do the plans right. And
Mr. Lex, I'm recalling your email now that you're speaking.
Yes, sir.
And I remember the farm and the beef comments. Have you brought this, is this today the first time you've ever indicated to the city of Cleveland that the 2008 development's causing you a problem?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm gonna follow.
And the reason I bring it up is because I don't want it to be a continuing problem as we progress down.
Sure.
As in, this is going up for a new subdivision now, which is even closer to my property. Actually, it's just,
Adjoining.
20 feet.
Yeah.
Basically, it joins my property. And every bit of what runs off that property, every single bit of the 22.85 acres
Sure.
runs right through my property. Now, how many of you want to sit down and eat a steak that comes off of one of my cows that comes off that property once it becomes a concrete jungle? I don't. I don't want to feed that to my family, including
You're saying
Hall
the
Spring.
runoff is going to your
Every bit of runoff that comes off that property runs through my property.
So you're just being ahead of this neighborhood.
I'm downstream, so basically, in lack of better words, I'm like a sewer system. I'm the catch basin at the end of the road. So whether it's Emerald Greens or whatever this new subdivision may be, it all has to go through my property before it gets to Candy's Creek.
Well, and what I want to do today is following Councilman Estes' lead of
Yes, sir.
asking Jonathan Job these types of questions and the timeline. We can't hold the new developer accountable for the sins of the past from
correct.
Emerald Hills or whatever the name of that subdivision was. So I see this as a two-part solution. I'm going to ask the staff to immediately begin investigation of those files, send the stormwater crew up there and find out what's going on. That's part
I
one.
would suggest we sit down and, I'm sorry, I didn't get your name.
Daniel Lakes.
Daniel Lakes.
That we're happy to get our, Chris Bridge, our stormwater people, and to do a deep dive on the old problem and the new problem.
As well as I've already hired my own firm as well, MBI, which is a very large firm between Knoxville and Chattanooga. I have their geo looking into everything right now as well to do the studies and see what all else, if you guys approve what is proposed for that property, what does that look like for my property, and what changes do I have to make to properly handle the water, because you can't stop water. All you can do is direct it a certain way.
Sure, mitigate.
Mitigate, that's it. You can mitigate it.
I mean, our standards have changed quite a bit from 2008. I mean, I don't know if we had a stormwater program in 2008.
Yeah, it was just in its infancy though. It was just starting.
I think, to echo what Jonathan said, is we've come light years since those times. What our standard is that if you build a neighborhood, that you retain all that water, it goes into a facility, or either a detention or a retention facility.
Yeah, that's WPP.
It has some type of sand filter that the water should actually be cleaner.
He has to do first flush.
Right.
Yeah.
And then a kind of a slow release, so there shouldn't be a rush of water coming out of it.
No, yes, that's correct. It'll last a longer period. It'll be days. You'll see water.
Right.
For, a few days after a rain, because it slowly releases. We did, if I remember right, on the Emerald Hills, I think that developer went bankrupt, it went to a different developer, so I just need to check those files.
You're correct on a lot of that.
And I think Mr. Fivas said what I wasn't sure, but it's very true. Our stormwater rules are inextricably tied to Greater Arena. And everything changed from then forward. And we have a whole lot different rules we operate under now to them. And so I think what we're voting on today will have a lot more scrutiny and teeth for you, and for full protection for you. Can't speak to 07, 08. But even that you brought it up here, I think you'll have full protection that no more water than what normally has come previous will come, no matter how much concrete or impervious material is put down. I can say that. And Jonathan, am I wrong in saying that?
No, you're right.
Okay.
Okay, there also is another possibility, just to give more context, is that there was a site right next to that, the Emerald Hill, that was under TDEC's intervention because of stormwater violations, and there were all kinds of issues there.
It is. It runs parallel with APD 40.
Yeah, I'm more talking about where the Veterans Home is.
Oh yeah, on the backside. Yes.
Backside. That is a known problem, and my guess is there's a chance that some of that problem is coming from that. That wasn't even in the city at the time, I don't believe. So we are glad to put as much resources working with you collaboratively, and we'll probably bring in the county stormwater folks and work to rebuild to make sure whatever happened there before doesn't happen again, because that doesn't sound great. The new subdivision, that we need to make sure that they follow every standard possible, and if that's violated, let's say they don't build it correctly, we can stop them before we give the final CO. So we could go through, you could be with us, there can be collaboration on, before we do the final approval, tell me if I'm doing anything wrong, and make sure that MBI agrees with that this is going to work for your subdivision. We're happy to do that. I think you have a.
It's not for my subdivision, it's for, I mean, how many other farms is there within, I mean, like I said, I'm still within the bypass. And technically, truly, that should be the city limits. Fortunately, Mr. Heisinger set that up a long time ago and was able to maintain this property, my grandfather, as a farm. So we've been able to maintain not getting in within the city limits.
Yeah.
So how many other farms are truly an active farm that raises cattle
Very
and
few.
gives back to our community,
Very few.
technically within the city limits?
Yeah.
Can you name one?
I think they're gonna cherish that. We do have alpaca farms, if we consider that a real.
Yeah. How many times you ate alpaca? How many times you ate a cheeseburger?
Don't answer that, Joe.
Yeah.
But I guess what
It's a
is,
dangerous
My
species.
doctor has a focus
so,
on Dr. Victor.
so I think you're gonna find a lot of cooperation with the council and us to make sure that yours is protected as possible, within the limits of the law. And we will put special attention on this to make sure that whatever the scenario is that happened before, that is not repeated, because that is not a great look. I don't know anything about it,
Right.
but we're happy to make sure that you can continue to actively farm, that you can run your stuff, that you have no impact from this.
When they submit their stormwater plan, it's public record, I can send it to your engineer.
How many of you guys are well of Hall Springs? Hall Spring, Barnell Road? Anybody? Nobody? Was anybody born and raised here in Bradley County?
I've been here all my life.
Dude, I went-
Nobody knows what Hall Spring is?
I raise cattle too, but I'm not in the county.
It's in the other,
So I've
other
got
side,
that
we're not in
respect.
that area.
So Hall Spring back in the 90s, it's a spring that produces, roughly 500 gallons a minute right on Varnell Road. Shoots across Varnell Road, goes down, feeds into Candies Creek. City of Cleveland tried to take this back in the 90s. We used to use this to water our cattle and to feed our homes with drinking water. So ever since this subdivision went in on top of this hill, we also have high counts of metals within our water to the point that we can't even use that anymore. I can show you the bills where I had to put in 2 taps last year through the city of Cleveland just to water my cattle, which averages somewhere around $400 a month. So I've got a 500 gallon a minute spring, should be a natural spring that runs through there to water my cattle with. And here I am buying water from the Cleveland utilities to water those cattle with. So my biggest point leaving here today, and I want you guys to truly think about, is if we're a community and we have to work together, there's very few of us that are left that are true Bradley Countyans left in Bradley County. And that is what I would like to see. I would like to see this continue to pass on to generations. But if we continue to allow the things like these subdivisions to come in and take us over in these areas and push us out, where are we going to go? What are we going to do? You think I want to fight to stay within this county? You think I want to give my money to the city or the county? No, I don't want to. If I don't have people in my corner, why would I want to be in your corner?
Anything further?
No, sir. I appreciate you guys giving me your time.
Are
and
you
listening.
comfortable with what was said here today, and you have a little security?
We'll
that-
set up a meeting and dig in.
I'll forward your emails to Mr. Fivas, and the
Yeah,
staff will have all of your
Please do sit
contact.
down with them, because I want to see this
Yeah.
resolved in the best interest of yourself.
Oh, I would too. I would love to see it resolved, and I'd love to stay where I'm at and it continue on for decades and decades.
We all take an oath to do no harm,
Yeah.
and that's our.
That's
our-
exactly.
Robert, Do you have his contact? Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Mr. Varnell does,
We'll
yes.
contact you tomorrow morning and set up a meeting.
Mr. Varnell of Varnell Road, in fact.
Mr. Barnett,
All right, thank you, Mr. Lakes. And we had one of the gentlemen seeking to address the council. Also 3 to 5 minutes, please, sir.
Hello, my name is Miles Atkins. I've lived in Cleveland a good 60 years. And the same residence that I live in now, my dad bought for my mom brand new back in '63. In '93, after Hurricane Bob, tree fell on it, I was in construction, I rebuilt it. That's where I live today. I've been having numerous problems with what I believe is juvenile delinquents. For a long time, I would be hearing, sometimes it would be a girl's voice, sometimes a boy's, sometimes a kid's voice, and I'd say, well, you want me to call the police? And I'd hear him say, no. So, you know, you look over the little kids. But this ongoing knocking has been going on since last year. Before the knocking started, there was shooting, I guess a pea gun, a pea shooter at my front door. When my mom died July 4th of last year, she had a swing with an awning that I put on the inside of the fence right there, and I turned the awning up. That pea shooting stopped. And like I said, it first started with the mild talking, then the pea shooter until August of last year. That's when it turned into knocking. And I'm getting it anywhere from 2 to 4 times a week. Now, the knocking goes from anywhere from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. of the morning. And I got a pretty good idea as to who it might be, but I can't absolutely point because I haven't actually seen him. I do know my door is being knocked on. Police has come and made reports. I know Officer Gibson has got a fine police department. However, they have come to me talking down to me. I'm hearing things. Are you crazy? What kind of medications are you on? And I talked to my attorney about that, and he said, well, it's none of their business what medications I am on. And what medications I do take are mild. However, a couple of years ago, I was taking 56 tablets every day. I was bedridden for about a year, from my heart to my gut to everything, down to 120 pounds. I've came back now, I'm 220. Took a couple of years to get there, been working out. Took the past month out because they got me a new regimen, more reps, less weight. But when they come and, you know, I'm sitting down, and right here is the report that, the last report that they made said, I began to get hostile. When you call me a liar, that this is my imagination, like the first officer, he said, you think you're hearing somebody not. You know, my verbal words should have been, I didn't say I think, because I know. You're trying to put words into a report that is false. And that's a disregard to the city police officers who's making these reports. That's degrading them, their own badge, by trying to put words in my mouth. This is the report of the last one. Now, I went over to the 911 dispatch, and I'm not calling the police department to entertain myself, to have them come out and me have to wait on them because I get so much spam, I turn the ringer off. I'm not doing that to entertain myself. I have a problem, like I said, between my heart and my health. Rest is the number one thing when it comes to your heart that the doctor will recommend. Now, And like I said, in the last 2 years, I have come greatly out of a deep sickness. My mom died last year, not anything I had, but my sister died the year before. What you get in the hospital, okay, is very bad. And then my brother-in-law, pastor, he died the year before. They talk about my hearing. Well, I told them, well, you know, when Jackson's transformer blowed, I called about it, and that it was indeed the transformer. When Officer Maples, I was on the phone with Reverend Hogg then, and I said, wait just a minute, I just heard something. I'm going to go check it out. And when I got up there, first thing I was asking if it was Chad Nabe, because I know he was the preacher's son, and just wanted to make sure it wasn't him in the wreck. And just recently at Bishop Bakery, when I'm sitting and watching TV, I'm facing South Lee Highway. So I called them, I said, I heard something explode directly over toward the school board building there on Smith Drive, over the hill, which is straight in line with Bishop Bakery. They said, no, you heard they had a wreck about 30 minutes ago on South Lee Highway. Well, that wasn't good enough for me, so I got out and I rode over there, and about that, and the fire department was just pulling up then, but I had already rode up South Lee Highway looking for a wreck, down to South Lee, and then back around, and that's when the fire department was finally showing up, where if they would have listened to me, no, I'm not hearing knocks. God has blessed me with good hearing, and that was an insult not only to me, but of the gift God had given me,
Mr.
thinking that I'm hearing.
And you
these
said
knocks.
you have a 911 report that you brought with you today?
Yes.
And it will have your home address on it?
No. Have you ever thought about putting a doorbell camera in?
I'm looking for that money right now, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
I do have a check that I haven't cashed. It's a rather large check from last year. I've misplaced it, but I called today to cancel it and to,
And I will get this to Chief Gibson.
Okay.
With that street address.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Mr.
All right.
Atkins. All right, so we've heard two different hearings and petitions under communications. That takes us to item number 7, which is the consent agenda.
oh, there is one more thing.
Yes, Mr. Atkins?
I spoke with Marcia about it.
Yes, Councilwoman McKenzie.
She had the same episode some years back, and didn't you say the neighbors and people on Facebook? So if they want to call me a liar, then they can call Marcia a liar, her neighbors, and the people on Facebook are facing the same
Mr.
thing.
Atkins, we're not going to call anybody a liar. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, takes us to the consent agenda, which was presented to the council prior to the meeting. It does require a motion from this council for the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Proper motion by Councilman May, properly seconded by Councilman Estes. Any additional comments, questions, or concerns about the consent agenda? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman May.
Aye.
Councilman Estes. Councilman Moore. Aye. Councilman McKenzie. Aye. Councilman Cassidy.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Webb.
Aye.
That carries 6-0.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Motion passes. Unfinished business. There is none today, thankfully. Next item on the agenda is reports from council members. We begin today with Councilman at Large, Councilman Moore.
No, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilwoman McKenzie. Thank you, ma'am. Councilman Estes.
Jonathan, can we get Representative Howell to help us on Phase 6 of the Greenway?
We received approval on the design. We're waiting on the notice to proceed, so that is the movement. So I can
So
reach out.
what does that mean?
That means we can, once we get the notice to proceed letter, we can move to right away and start buying the property.
So they're done asking questions.
They're done asking questions. Our plan
We
is
just
to
need an
bring-
email from them.
Yeah, well, it's a letter. It
We
should
just
go to
need,
the mayor.
so we need to talk to Dan Howell this week and have him ask for that letter.
Yes.
It'd be great to buy the properties.
Yeah, but
Because
once
we got
we get
people.
that letter, we can start buying the property.
Okay. thank you to my colleagues. This Saturday, downtown City Fields is having a 5K. There's an Alzheimer's walk. The library's having a Latino festival, and then there's a cruise in. I went to Main Street today for lunch, and just thinking how far they've come in 5-6 years. We just had something this month. We just had something. Now we got something. 4 things on Saturday. It's just, there's a lot of momentum. It was a good presentation. We knew it was about fiber and Tim Henderson and Marshall Stennett, but just really excited about what's going on downtown. Just to let y'all know, and there's a lot of momentum. That's all, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Cassidy. Oh, Councilman Estes,
Sorry.
back to
Talking about
Bill.
this, Chief Gibson, thank you for looking into Inman Street, Hookah Bar, all of that. Whatever I can do to help, please ask. And
We're meeting tomorrow.
All right.
And if you wanted to come, you're more than welcome to.
Will you just let me know when?
With the neighborhood and people.
Yeah, that'd be great. And Mr. Kimball, I wish this could fall under the nuisance part of law. I don't know that it needs to. Yeah, I know.
Joe just helping out. So,
I was hoping. Yes, if you let me know when, I'll do everything I can to get there. No promise.
What are you talking about then? Just curious.
So, we've been having calls and complaints about, I don't know what to call it. I call it a hookah bar, but that's really not what it is. A smoke shop.
Like a smoke shop.
And there was I didn't read the police report, chief, so I'll say this wrong. There was a shooting this weekend.
We had somebody that fired off
Shots outside of the bar. This 3-4 in the morning.
Where is that?
Across from Spoonies.
Okay. Yeah, I got you.
And it's, so I've had complaints, and a lot of it happens from like 1 in the morning to 4 in the morning, every Saturday night. So I had it on my agenda to bring up today, and then they had activity this weekend. So it just needs attention immediately.
Like I said, we have a meeting and we have building and police and codes. And
Somewhere in there's an answer, right?
We think so.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. John gave me a good idea that we need to follow that lead.
All right. So thank you, and Chief, thank you. And one of the neighbors was appreciative of, they didn't give me the name of the officer, right? They're just, that's all.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Cassidy.
Yes, one thing, Tommy, I think I thank you, or I don't know who did it, Joe, was coming off the Holiday Hilltop, clearing that property right there, where you come down, you can see it. It's much, much better. So if you're involved in that, thank you for that. I know we talked about that a few weeks ago, and I thank you for taking care of that. I think it's going to help the safety. People come down and can see versus going different ways. So thank you for that. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Councilman May.
No, no, never.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Goff has been excused. Vice Mayor Webb.
No, sir.
Thank you, sir. Takes us to item 10 on the agenda, which is new business. 10A is a motion authorizing the City Cleveland Beer Board to issue a special occasion beer permit for Tee It Up for the Troops to be held on 8 November from 7 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. 1st Street Northeast between Church and Parker. This is on page 40 of your agenda, and this ordinance special occasion permit would require a motion from the council.
So moved.
Second.
Proper motion by Councilman May, properly seconded by Councilman Estes. Any comments, questions, or concerns?
We're good. Vote? You look like you're in.
I'm sorry, I can't hear
You
you.
look like you're in.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman May?
Aye.
Councilman Estes?
Aye.
Councilman Moore? Aye. Councilwoman McKenzie?
No.
Councilman Cassidy?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Webb?
Aye.
Carries 5-1.
That motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Clerk.
This is a veterans event. Do you want to have him say?
Yeah.
Sure.
1 minute?
Sure thing. My name is Mike. I'm the organizer for From the Brave. And 2 years ago, you all approved the very first event. And since then, that put it into motion to do some good things for veterans. So since then, we have raised $10,000 over the last 2 years that have benefited several organizations here in Cleveland.
and nationwide. So, thank you very much.
Is this our new map of the Arts and Entertainment District? Because if it's Church Street.
It's Church and Parker, it should be.
It's First Street.
Yeah.
Between Church and
Is
Parker.
it first?
Yeah.
It goes down first, so it's right on the
First
point?
between Church
Okay.
and Parker.
So we might want to think about that as we put this together, is to find another way to simplify closing these streets for events like this.
Within
Just
the,
a thought. Just
within
y'all
the
go.
Arts and Entertainment
Yeah.
District, yes.
Just with that.
Okay.
As you go forward.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming and waiting.
Sure thing.
I know it's 5 o'clock.
Thank you.
All right, item B under new business was added by Councilman Bill Estes in regard for discussion on new motion, an extension of the appeals deadline. Discussion included October 31st. Councilman Estes, I'll refer to you.
I don't know how to make this motion if we change.
Just move everything back 1 month.
All right.
Have
Pretty
have
simple,
the,
dude. You
have
do
the,
that.
30 days?
We can do that.
have
Come
the
on.
appeals
30 days?
be October 31st,
Doctor,
and
you
have
can do that.
the checks go out at the 28-day payday in November.
And the day that, the 31st is a Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah, so. 29, 28. The 27th we meet.
So we'll extend.
Well, here, let me tell you, Joe, here's what complicates it in my mind. Maybe you can clean me up. If we change a scale, a plan, look at a grid, whatever, if we change what we're offering, then that wouldn't happen until the 27th. And that would only give them 4.5 days for appeals. Because I don't think we're going to revisit this for a month. In this.
Well, I think in the meantime, city manager's gonna be working with department reps from department. And I hope they'll come up with a solution.
And would that go out before we see it and vote on it?
No.
No. No, okay.
I think the logistics question's real. My guess is, let's get the options together. Let's meet on October 27th. Let's see where we're at and evaluate. We'll just know more then.
All right, I move that we allow appeals, and we'll revisit this on the 27th when we have more information.
Okay.
Second.
And move
Any repayment.
any retroactivity payments to November 28th.
Yeah, I have a question though. Typically we do longevity as a separate check earlier in November. Are we saying that those longevity checks are going to be doubled, or are we waiting on that until the end of November, doing the regular longevity and then doing the, how are we
So,
doing that?
all right, just Billy Estes. Longevity plays into the way I look at compensation.
Well,
You know, you say we usually do this, maybe we don't be usual this year and we get it all sorted.
Maybe it takes next year, but to get through this year for next budget.
I don't know, I don't know.
Vice Mayor Webb?
How about
I don't have a crystal ball.
if the November payment date of the longevity checks, it's not settled by then, that we pay longevity at what we did last year, and then we address the additional when we make the final decision, you know, like that.
No, I do, I'm fine with that, I don't,
So you accept that as a verbal amendment to your motion? Christie, are we clear on what that?
no, let's,
When do we start processing those longevity checks?
It's usually like the second week of November is when they typically go out.
Yeah, I think, I don't want to put, she knows the schedule. I would say, let's see where we're at on the 27th. Make the holistic decision. I would hate to see them have to go through and do all the calculations twice. I think they can you process those checks in 3 weeks?
The longevity check?
Yes. Yeah. So I think we can make that longevity decision on the 27th, and then we'll know where we're at.
So I move that we push the appeals date back and settle on an appeals date on the 27th. And look at all information provided by city staff at that time.
Councilman May, do you still maintain that as a second?
Yes.
So that is a proper motion by Councilman Estes, properly seconded by Councilman May. Any other comments, questions, or concerns about that motion or second? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Estes?
Aye.
Councilman May?
Aye.
Councilman Moore?
Aye.
Councilwoman McKenzie?
Aye.
Councilman Cassidy?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Webb?
Aye.
Carries 6-0.
That motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Clerk.
Can
Thank
I
you.
make a clarification?
Yes, sir.
Is that any employee can still, if they have an appeal, they can still turn it in, and we will have them work on them as far as, you know, sometimes it's about, whether it's a job description, sometimes there's other issues other than this stuff, and those can be processed during October. So nothing, if you have an appeal, you can still appeal now, and we'll process those. And if there needs more time for more appeals, we can decide that on October 27th.
All right. Thank you for that clarification, Mr. Fivas. Without any other questions, lastly, announcements. The city offices will be closed Monday, October 13th. In observance of Columbus Day, the city council meeting has been canceled for that day. As discussed earlier, the next city council meeting will be held Monday, October 27. Any additional comments or questions from the council?